to,
Okay, getting ready for a sound check. Microphone number one, mic number one, check, check. Microphone number two, microphone number two,
you said your name was Karen?
mic two.
Not here.
Pardon?
Not here. Right? Because I have to explain myself.
Oh my God. That is so funny.
Microphone three,
Can I sign in?
microphone
Can I
three,
sign
1,
in?
2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
There's no public or nothing.
Okay.
Mic three, mic
This is
three.
for the kids' government,
Oh,
they're required to go to a town and a school.
oh, so they.
Microphone number four, or mic four, check, check, 1, 2, 3. Microphone number four. Microphone number five, mic five. That one seems louder than the others. And microphone number six. Microphone number six, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Podium mic. Do we need the podium mic tonight? Jude, do we need the podium mic?
No, we do not.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I'm testing the podium mic, but we do not need it. Thank you.
Bueller, anyone?
Just gonna push it out of the way a little bit.
Thank you, Mike. Not for me.
In case someone throws me a curveball, the side goes to the mic.
I know, right? This is so.
All right. 3 and 4 soon. This is mic four again. Mic four sounds better. Microphone three sounds better.
Good. Hello. I'm okay. I don't know about that. It says the season. There's always something, right?
Okay, that should be all the microphones. Links posted, he said. Everything's sounding good. Hopefully looks fine.
So the town board.
I'm gonna try to get that date timestamp out of there. But for now, I'm gonna mute here in 3, 2, 1.
They live and die by the woods.
Here's my question. In this pursuit, and, you know, how much of this that we have? What's our question? Okay. Dan couldn't get his hair to dry, right? I'm sorry. I do have a touch of your really active.
But I like it raw, so that's why I turned it on.
Wait.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening for our joint town board meeting. This time I'd ask you to stand and we will do the pledge. The flag is behind us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
right, thank you again for being here. We're very pleased. There's plenty of seats if you're just arriving. Please come on in. Thank you again. We thank Mark Gordon for putting this on our streaming channel through YouTube. So thank you, Mark, for your expertise in that area. Would just like to begin with roll call. I see that we have, maybe we'll start with Jude and then go to Patty and go around the table for there.
District clerk.
Patty Frenzel, Town Clerk.
Danielle Bruno, Grand Island School Board. Troy Lamarca, School Board Trustee.
Tom Bigatti, Grand Island Town Board. Pete Marston, Town Supervisor.
I'm Brian Graham, Superintendent.
Ashley Dreyer, Grand Island School Board Trustee.
Sue Marston, School Board Trustee. Sherry Stephens, School Board Trustee.
Jake Rover, School Board Trustee.
Roger Broker, School Board Trustee.
And we do have some excused members from the town this evening, so we thank everybody for being here and being present. Our agenda is established. We're going to start off by talking about our School Resource Officer Program. I'll start, and then maybe Pete, you can jump in.
Sure.
I just want to thank the town and the school board for working together to build in that type of security for our students here in Grand Island and our faculty and staff. Making this campus as safe as possible is always the highest priority, and we're very honored to have Troy and Tom and Mike and Rachel all contributing to our School Resource Officer Program. They are tremendous assets in many ways in supporting the teaching and learning process, making sure that it's safe. So, Pete, I don't know if you have anything else to add about SRO?
No, I think it's a great partnership. We are always on the lookout, I guess, for more SROs, if you will, to create a bench, a backbench, so we can fill in vacancies or retirements or illnesses or whatever. So I think we'll just continue to stay with it. So we've been pretty happy to be part of it, and I think it seems to make a difference.
Yeah,
So-
for sure. I also want to commend Peter Marston for attending our district-wide safety meetings all throughout the year. We have several of those, and Pete has been at the table along with our school resource officers and many other members from the town as well as the school. One of the things that may be important to share with our community is a few years ago we purchased a product called Zero Eyes, which is an artificial intelligent gun detection software that lays over the top of all of our external and internal cameras. Today, the reason why I'm sharing that is today our school resource officer, along with our privacy and security director, who's Josh Nichols, went to Kegabyne to test. We test the system all throughout the school year on multiple levels, and just so that the public knows, during that test, the Zero Eyes company is alerted when a brandished gun is visible on our campus, that's on the outside of our campus or on the inside of our campus. Today, they tested that system on the outside of the campus. It immediately picked up the brandished weapon, which was brandished by the school resource officer. That is verified by a human in Philadelphia, and then I get an immediate phone call, as well as text images are sent to my phone. They also contact emergency services so that they have constant awareness of any possible threat or target on our campus. And Pete, I just wanted to commend again our school resource officers who work so diligently on projects like this to make sure that everybody in our campus is as safe as possible. And it's a real testament to the collaboration between the town and the school.
Yeah, thank you. Back to your safety meeting, it's pretty enlightening to me to see how thorough you guys are and how much you look into all these things, from every topic, and there's always, so BOCES always represents there, and the things they cover, it's, I guess, as a parent, as a resident, I never really realized how deep down the rabbit hole you go on so many things, but it makes you feel good as a parent,
Yeah.
as a resident, yeah.
I also want to mention that John Fitzpatrick had an opportunity to present for Grand Island at the University of Buffalo's Safe Schools webinar. It was more than a webinar, it was a workshop at the University of Buffalo. And one of the things that John highlighted besides technology like this are the proactive measures that our school district is involved with to keep kids safe. Some of those proactive measures include mental health screenings that are done throughout the school district, proactive programs to reinforce with our students that this is an environment where children can feel joy, be valued, and feel positively connected to the school district. And I say all that because we're not perfect, and we're always striving to be better than what we were yesterday. But it was really nice, John, that we were invited to share that information with the broader Western New York community, and we received some nice accolades for our participation in that. And that goes back to how important it is that the town and the school work together on many, many different projects. So I thank you for that. Anything else from anybody else around the table regarding SRO? All right, good. IT partnership. It was really great as a school board working with the town to hire a replacement for Josh Nichols. Josh was promoted to help us with cybersecurity and security overall on all of our plants, our school buildings and physical plant. And to replace him, we hired a network specialist. And for the community to understand, the district hired a network specialist for 4 days a week, and then we share those services with the town for 1 day a week. I'm just curious how things are going with that.
Actually, too good.
Yeah, too good.
He's amazing, and he's really brought us, I'm gonna say brought us forward a decade. That sound about right, Tom?
Catching up.
Yeah, we're catching up. So I think we're gonna have to have some conversations this year during our budget time about actually hiring a individual ourselves to do IT, but to keep the process going with Aaron, to kind of have him, he's really good. Yeah, he's extremely talented. I think we need to hire somebody a little bit more day-to-day to do the daily reporting, the daily stuff. That guy's a rock star.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky to have him for sure.
We've done some grants for cybersecurity and a couple other things, and he's been right in there. He helped us facilitate a new phone system at our town hall and throughout the town. Yeah, he's been a really huge asset.
Yeah.
That one's worked out really good.
Yeah, that's good feedback.
Yeah.
Does anybody else around the table have anything else to add to that? I do know that it's important, I think, in every industry, cyber attacks are prevalent. And I want to thank our Board of Education. I think it was a year ago where we added a position to protect the district in every way that they can against cyber attacks. And I'm looking at Bob. I think we got a report recently from Josh that indicates that there are a lot of cyber attacks that come to the district and are thwarted or prevented from getting to teacher computers and student computers. But it is a tremendous issue, and I'm glad that this partnership's working out.
Very good. Very much so.
Very good. Up next, shared services. Pete, maybe I'll start with you if you have anything you want to add.
Well, I think we just talked about our two big shared services with the SRO and the IT partnership. Of course, we're always looking for ways to partner wherever we can. We've talked about other venues in the past, and maybe there's some potential venues coming forward. We're looking at doing a little bit of different restructuring and maybe chasing grants a little bit differently than we've been. So once we make those moves, we'll be in touch with you and see if that helps you guys at all. We can correlate on anything there. There's a lot of stuff that I see in the grant portals that can affect both the school and the town, but we just need the right facilitators. So that's kind of what we're working on our end now. We're playing a little bit of catch up, but we got some ideas on how to go to the next generation. It seems like if you're not getting the grants now, then you're in trouble. So we got to really start working harder to get them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I know that for the community, they may or may not be aware that the town and the school district work together to get the best possible price for diesel fuel.
Yep.
And that fuel tank is held on our campus, and
Bus garage.
your vehicles can come and get diesel from that system, which is, allows for both the district and the town to have the best possible pricing for diesel. I know that we come to you for salt, and I think Dick is here. Dick, there's no doubt, right? This was a tough year for salt in
barter
general.
salt.
Yes. But we appreciate the opportunity to work with the town and purchase our salt from you.
Emergency response.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you maybe to talk a little bit about that. Was a big initiative of yours.
So that's something that we've shared with the school all along. The school has many facilities sprinkled throughout the town. Seems almost geographically correct. If there is some sort of disaster, whether it be a snowstorm, a flood, a massive power outage or anything like that. So we work together with the school and our safety team to make sure that the schools are, I guess, ready, you know, if we need to engage them and make that a warming shelter for that area, or if it's a place we can evacuate people to if there's a flood, you know. So we really, I think, on next steps to get our community ready in case, on the rare event that something bad happens. So, and the school is definitely taking so you guys have all the facilities, you know. So
Yeah, it's very helpful,
Yeah.
really good partnership.
Yeah.
Additionally, I want to say that our partnership with the town rec is very beneficial for our students as well as the community. I know that the town rec uses our facilities quite a bit for different programming, and I think that's a really great example of those shared services. And most recently, I think our director of facilities has been in contact with the town to see how we can expand or actually clean up some of the trails behind our main campus here at Grand Island High School to support cross-country meets and things of that nature. So I know that maybe Phil Marino, I think, has been in contact to maybe borrow some equipment to clean out some trails. We have a very robust cross-country program with a couple coaches who are outstanding. And the history behind our school district is we've had trails right within the woods at our school, but I think with ash trees that have fallen and overgrowth, drainage, there's been some issues, but it sounds like this project is gonna be able to move forward in the best possible light to extend not only cross-country opportunities, but classroom opportunities for science students to walk through the woods and understand the habitats and the environments and the ecology that are surrounding our school district. And I guess just when I think of shared services, that may not be something that comes to the forefront, but it's certainly an example of how the town and the school are working together for the betterment of the kids.
I understand that they also visited Echo Island Archives.
Oh, yeah.
They were down there looking at some new opportunities.
Yes,
You
yeah.
know, our guys they, for lack of a better term, they have a recipe.
Yeah.
To build trails, we've gotten pretty proficient at it,
Yeah.
especially nature trails and stuff like that. And the fact that yours already exists and they just need to be,
Cleaned up.
you know,
Yeah.
brought back up, I think they can help you no problem. So,
Yeah.
and if you decide you want wood chips, well, Mr. Crawford can certainly get you on the list. We can bring you truckloads.
That's fantastic. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
For anybody else at the table regarding shared services, are there any additional comments or questions? Thank you so much. So next on the agenda, upcoming town projects.
So I guess the one I'll probably drill down on is water meters. So our water meters are, I think, 18 to 20 years old, Tom? Is that right? Yeah, and they have a 15-year life expectancy, so they are overdue. It didn't take long to figure out that we don't really have the financial money laying around to do that. So we looked into a couple different ways to do this, and we've come up with a water fee that goes on the water bill to offset the cost of the new meters, which is something we plan to take on in 2026. We're bidding it out. We're just starting now. We've got all our, I guess, informals with all our vendors, and we're gonna put an RFP together and probably award for 2026. Also, this year, the grant window opened back up for water meter replacements. So it gives us the opportunity to hopefully earn a grant, which would save us a couple $1 million and maybe help our taxpayers quite a bit.
Yeah,
You know, and our water users, so, been very diligent on that, we're trying really hard on this one.
Okay.
So we got our fingers and toes crossed, hopefully that works out. We've looked at a ton of new technology with these things, and, pretty impressive, you know. You could actually have leak detection, you could be out of town and know your faucet's running and stuff like that, it's pretty next generation, you know, so, but not all that, you know, it's all about what makes sense too, so. We're doing all our research now, so that's probably the biggest thing that I know we got going on. You know, that, and we're working on a little bit of, well, we're working on a lot of zoning, you know, because our zoning's pretty antiquated. And we started a committee and started a process to review it all and kind of bring it into the next generation as far as, you know, what's what and where it goes and how big it should be, you know, so. Tom, anything you'd like to add?
Probably the biggest one is the Parks and Rec master plan.
Yeah.
So we're redoing that at a town-wide, not just parks, but service, so it's actually Parks, Recreation, and Senior Services master plan. So we've got, we're working with Labella to develop that plan. We have a meeting tomorrow, but in the relatively near future, there will be time for the school board, the public, and other stakeholders to start kind of putting their voice in the ring about what they think we need, what we're lacking, where things should go. So that's gonna be a pretty big undertaking that hopefully, probably 18 months from having a plan, but once the plan is done, my hope is that we can dig right into taking off the shelf and putting it into procedure.
That's exciting. To Tom's point, that creates a lot of joint grant opportunities with the school and the town to do these things, because we use your facilities, and, yeah.
And even with the, we're doing stuff now, like taking the community ed booklet and the town rec booklet, and like identifying, because Joe has like the adaptive programs and stuff like that, to identify holes in both programming. Like I said, it's not just a facilities plan through, so it should be something that will benefit everyone.
Wow, that's great. Does anybody have any comments about those projects?
Can I ask a question about the water bill fee?
Mhm.
Is that permanent now, is that the same
So,
for everyone?
it's something we put on, and we assigned a number to it, but that number is fluid, so if we get a grant, we can lower the number. You know, it's based on getting no assistance and amortizing this out over 15 years, so that's the number we put on it. If we can get a $2 million grant, obviously we could trim the cost and then redo it. So it's I'm gonna speculate and say it's probably a permanent fee as long as we're paying water meters out, but the number could vary, you know, it could float. And the reason we didn't wanna put it into our water rate is because that's a lot harder to float. If it changes, we can change that.
So the fee, a quarterly fee can only be used for water meters, or it's gonna cover the upfront water meters, some infrastructure improvements we need to make to be able to read them remotely. Right now, a guy drives by in a van and that's how they're read. This will eliminate the need to drive around, so they're stronger signals, but we need some infrastructure improvements. And then the annual fee associated with the reading and billing software. So it'll stay on to some extent, likely forever, but hopefully it gets reduced, because the plan is we'll bond it and pay it off over the course of probably 10 years. And then after that, the money that goes in will be in part to pay for the annual fees, and in part to start building a way to pay for the next time all the waters need to be replaced, which is.
It's a little hard to hear you.
Sorry,
And I'm
Pete
not-
said they were 18 months, they were 18 years
Thank
old,
you.
but when they were done basically wholesale in 2007, there was no planning for when they needed to be done again, and we're trying to prevent that, so.
Trying to create a mechanism, and as you know from financing, years 2, 3, and 4 are the big numbers, right? And after that, they start to, the first year is nothing, the second, third, and fourth year are the most financially strapping, and after that, it starts to wean down a little bit. So we can adjust, or whoever's in town can adjust that number to facilitate. We certainly don't wanna make it a revenue stream. We don't wanna make it
It can't be.
it can't be a revenue stream. We just basically wanna collect what it's gonna cost us. So we don't have to implicate the water on, you know, the water, cost per thousand. So that's been a little tricky, but
I know
that's,
there was a question on if a resident could opt out.
We don't-
Possible, right?
I've gotten a lot of those calls.
Yeah.
At this point, we don't know, because we haven't gone with a vendor. I mean, it's something we're gonna look into, because I've gotten far more than one call about, people,
yeah.
excuse me, with concerns about exposure to EMFs and stuff like that. But we don't have the answers to that yet, but once it goes out to bid and we get
Yeah.
closer to actually implementing it, we'll have some answers about that. But I wouldn't expect there to be a chance to opt in.
So my question would be is if they could opt out, then how is the reader read? And what difficulties does that put on the town to a program that they're rolling out to make it more efficient and better for the town?
And that's gonna
Right,
be the issue.
You know, I mean, I guess that's my question as a resident, like, we're all in or we're all out, right? It's, when we're rolling out programs, what is that gonna do to our town if we allow people to opt out, right? Is it negating what we're trying to do for efficiency and cost going down the road?
Well, it sounds like there was obviously on the back end for you guys, right, with having first driving around.
For 20 years and then paying their retirement and everything else, yes.
So I would say, as you're looking at an opt-out program, I would, as a resident, like to see what the impact is to a program you're trying to roll out for more efficiencies, what that does to that, right? And what you have to put in place for those that you are making exceptions for. Would be the flip side of that.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. There's always a flip side.
So Peter,
I'm just curious.
I liked how you used the word,
I'm just curious. Perception.
Yes.
I liked how you used the word fluid, that things are fluid. It was very good. I also noticed you said something about float, so
Yeah.
well done.
Yes,
Well
yeah,
done.
float.
Great.
Yeah.
It was under the radar,
Yeah,
but
it
I
works.
picked up on it. It's great. So besides town projects, and I guess one question I have, I know that sidewalks was a big project for many years. Is that still moving forward? Are we done with that project?
So the town center's been done,
Okay.
and we're, you know, obviously as new developments come along, in a sewer, anything in a sewer district is required to have sidewalks. Anything new built needs to have sidewalks.
Okay.
So,
Great.
yeah.
So that's already taken
Yeah.
care of. How about new residential developments?
Yeah and no.
No.
We see things every day, you know, and sometimes they make sense, sometimes they don't. A lot of them take a long way to get there. I can also say that right now, it's not exactly a good time to be a developer with the cost of money and everything else, so everybody's kind of retreating to the back room and they're doing their engineering and their this and their that. And, but I expect if we see a favorable, interest rate approach in the future, that we'll probably see an uptick in that.
Right.
I think all the improvements are still moving forward, just slowly, so the one at the corner.
Yeah.
Over in Stony, they're working on finalizing that. Rivertown, they're still at it, we're working on negotiating a couple of issues with them.
Yeah.
Those are
But,
the biggest.
but they're, so Rivertown's been constantly changing a little bit. It's a little bit.
Yeah, but they did say, yeah.
And Rivertown's near the old hotel across the street.
Downtown center,
That one,
behind Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay, got it. That's
that one's-
Rivertown.
Yeah, that one's, what are we calling that now?
Gulfview. Gulfview.
That's on iteration number like 157.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they keep coming back, they wanna put their mixed use, it's not mixed use, it's,
It's residential, different grades, and then it has townhomes. So it's a bunch of different style neighborhoods, style buildings that actually got a multitude of different styles. Which would be good.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Before anybody asks, all these is still working.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I'll
So I
see.
figured I might as well put it out there now.
I'm very
Yeah,
excited.
they're having some trouble securing the property. They have some legal issues they're sorting out on the property itself. Their site plan actually expires May 6th, and they called us about renewing it, so it doesn't go away. So that's good. That means they're still committed. If they weren't willing to do that, then I would be concerned. But the fact that they are means they're still plugging away, trying to get them.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because if you didn't ask somebody that's also come.
Yeah. How about for anybody around the table, any questions about new developments? All right. see, we have on the agenda, conversation about the intersection near Kegatine Elementary School.
Yeah, so there's gonna be some changes there, and Highway Superintendent Cropper and I had a glimpse of what they were doing and how they were gonna do it. And I'm gonna tell you, the first thing that I thought about when I saw it was this thing's in a snow event, this thing's a maintenance nightmare. It's gonna take quite a bit of, I think it's gonna take some equipment. And, you know, the town has this equipment, I think the school probably has this equipment too, but it's really tricky. They're actually talking about making the islands into pedestrian sanctuary, was the word they use. So, in essence, we have to cut bike paths through, or walking paths through those islands. And that means that the plows are coming from every direction, and then going through all these off-ramps, so the snow's gonna be rather thick if it snows.
Okay.
You know, so it's not gonna just be go out with a shovel and clean it up. It's gonna take some sort of pretty, almost industrial piece of equipment. So, with snow, like it's gonna take a bobcat with a snow blower, or a utility vehicle with a snow blower. You know, it's not gonna be something that you're gonna go out there with, you know, your little walk behind deal, and I could promise you, if you buy it from me, I'm not gonna warranty it right over there. It's gonna be pretty thick stuff.
Got it.
So, I think we need to talk about it. And once they finally, they kind of, they didn't leave us with the plan. Mr. Crawford, you could speak on this, but they were still doing some engineering, so it wasn't finely tuned. But I think once we get the final plan, we should probably sit down, both the town and the school, to figure this out.
Whose responsibility will it be to keep those walkways clean? Will it be the towner, will it be the school, or will we determine that, seeing it will be new?
Well, that's,
Highway law will tell you that it will be the town's responsibility, but we have to take a look at it and see their final plans, and hopefully it's something that we can address very economically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was just curious because it's sort of kind of in a little way.
so I'll be honest with you, my concern is it's remote, number one, for us. Number two, it's inclement weather. We'd have to drive out with a trailer and a truck and a piece of equipment, unload it and do this. And you're gonna have to snowblow it over off these islands into the main, you know, to the grass areas. It's gonna be tricky. You know, and the highway department's got a few things going on, usually when it's snowing. Not that you guys don't get the wrong idea. That's not what I mean, but it might be a lot easier if you have equipment near there, that we can partner up and do some things.
I'm
You know,
sure
so-
we'll get together.
So we have to talk about that when we get there. You know, it's a ways off. Let them do their final engineering.
Yeah, sure.
And we'll do it. They've also talked about a couple things, as far as speed limit changes and a couple other things. And Dick and I had in our conversation, talked to them about some other things more in the area, more globally in the area. Basically from the thruway right past Broadway, things they should be looking at and things that maybe they can answer. That new bridge created some other issues.
And when you say they, this is a state road.
It's state deal.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to know. Danielle?
I was just gonna say with respect to the roadway, like a bloody near Kegatine, I would assume when it was presented to the school, there would have been multiple road design engineers, you know, looking at it as opposed to one. I don't know, it's just helpful to have all the information as to the engineering of that, any road design itself.
So they brought it to us, you know, we basically called them out, we sent letters of concern. I think most of the elected officials in the area sent letters of concern. Obviously, Danley sent letters of concern. They came back and said, here's our first iteration, this is what it looks like. We're gonna start with this and go from there. Am I about right, Dick? They weren't really, and they said, we're gonna do this part first. We could do this right away, and we're gonna work on that this summer. And then we're gonna look at some other things. Said, Mr. Crawford and I gave him a pretty substantial list of other things that we were concerned about, and they were taking that back to their team to put that on the table and see if they can come up with other things. But I think it's gonna be kinda, I'm gonna speculate that maybe we're gonna see maybe piece by piece here, Dick.
Yeah, I mean, they have their own design engineers that are working on it, and they will be updating us. We haven't gotten one since we got the original, and I've spoken with them once about 2 weeks ago. So they're continuing on their path, and we should see something soon, I believe.
Yeah. So, again, my biggest concern was when I saw it, I'm like, well, once a year it snows really hard, this is gonna be hard, this is gonna be difficult to deal with. Of course, you guys just bail out and have a snow day, you know, we still gotta get this cleared out.
That's right.
You know, so,
We'll call it snow day.
because then we can't get that cleared out, right?
And you can reassign the water meter guy.
Yeah, there you go. I'll have him-
To
I'll have him do
shovel.
the shoveling, right? Yeah, you're fine.
Just thinking, brainstorming.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, but, you know, in all seriousness, obviously, the town took great action in
Yeah.
supporting your concerns in honor of the mayor family,
Mm-hmm.
and we appreciate your leadership in that area, and I appreciate Phil Marino and Dick Crawford and Felicia Palachi and John Fitzpatrick for working together to create a little memorial for Leah near Broadway there. So a lot going on, and thank you for your leadership. Anything else, any other comments about that intersection? All right. So I just want to give our school board as well as the town board just an update. We've been engaged in a little pilot study where we have 3 school buses that are that have stop arm bus cameras attached to their buses. Teresa Elise worked with Bob Merkel and a particular company to identify which buses might have a lot of activity where vehicles pass a stopped school bus. Since we've started this pilot, and I would say since February of 2025, or I should say February 24th, 2025, we started the pilot, and since then there have been 12 incidents of vehicles passing a stopped school bus. Yeah. So of those 3 buses, and only 3 buses have the cameras, and this is really a pilot. We're just collecting data. We'll report back to the school board and the town what that data looks like at the end of the school year to better understand if this is an initiative we should continue adding cameras on more of our buses. Obviously, this is not an opportunity to make money, but to educate the community on how important it is to stop when a school bus is stopped. So today I want to thank Bob Merkel. He shared with me some of the data and actually shared a video of a vehicle that was very close to passing a stopped school bus. But what was more important than looking at the video was to see the technology behind it. So in this video that Bob and I reviewed today, a vehicle was approaching one of our buses. Our bus was getting ready to stop. The stop sign was starting to come out, red lights were flashing, and as the stop sign started to come out, the vehicle passed. So we were able to see that the camera captured the license plate of the vehicle and the identification of the vehicle. In the event that the school and the town wanted to move forward with this initiative, it was impressive technology to review multiple camera angles of this incident. So even though Bob and I, when we reviewed it, we weren't sure immediately if it was the true definition of passing a stopped school bus, just in reviewing that data. But ultimately, 12 incidents since February 24th is 12 too many. So,
Agreed there.
yeah.
I know this is very passionate to Councilman Bugatti, so I won't take up too much time. But I also can tell you that we've worked with our town attorneys, and we've looked at the sample languages and stuff we've gotten from your vendor. They say it's absolutely, I'll say doable, but we need to, he kind of said, we really should sit with this vendor to understand this a little bit better, exactly how this process works, so we can make sure that we properly wire the law and make sure it works appropriately. Right now, we're just kind of guessing a little bit, not guessing, but it's not completely right. He said it, he goes, when we get to the point where we need to do this, he goes, I want to sit with the vendor and have a conversation with them. So I can understand that, and that makes a lot of sense. So,
I'll be ready to roll with it with you guys are.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I think it's
Yeah.
balancing. It's not, knock on wood, it would never ever be a cost saving revenue because the nature of what we're dealing with, being on an island, is it's island residents that are out there, and I think once word got out that you pass a school bus and you're gonna get a very unpleasant letter in the mail, people
Yeah, I think the goal is compliance, not punishment, so I think, you know, if we work together, we will get there.
I'm sorry, what was the extension on the legislation, if anybody remembers, on the enforcement, was it 2028 or?
I thought it was 4 or 5 years.
Oh, okay.
I think,
All right.
yeah.
We have that,
Yeah,
okay.
it's a great question.
And then do we know what type of manpower the town would need, you know, involved in looking at these in order to move forward with it, right?
And that's our question, right?
That's
That's,
If it's 12 a month,
Right, and
that's,
that's only,
that's something we could do, but if
but
it,
that's only on 3 buses, right? So if we had all the buses here at least.
we also don't understand how much, so we're not afraid to do the work. We need to understand how much work is involved
Right.
for the town.
Right.
So we can figure all that out, we can wire it all appropriately, and, you know, what form does this come to us? Is it basically cooked and it's a yes or a no? Or is it us going through video and assigning the ticket from the beginning?
Right.
So those all change a lot of the legalities, from what I understand. So we need to, again, sit with your vendor and know what we're gonna get from their end product, so we can understand how to process it on our end.
I think this vendor is a little more manpower driven and cost efficient than the prior one, which
Yes.
was, probably the first level was AI reviewing everything before it, but it was also like the state, we've gotten a ticket on the construction zone cameras now, where it's entirely, it's reviewed by AI and it's sent out. This would be more, my understanding is that the transportation department would kind of do the initial review when somebody went through it, and ultimately would make it from there to the town police to issue a citation or warrant it. But, yeah,
So we might need more manpower on the school side as well, right?
potentially.
Potentially, I would say, Bob, we spent quite a few minutes ourselves
I think it goes more
watching
to
a video
us.
today
Yeah.
and questioning whether or not it was, you know, legit, but
Yeah,
Bob,
we
as
don't-
far as manpower goes, what's your understanding?
We wouldn't review any of the videos, they would be reviewed by AI and the company before they're sent to the town. They'd have to be reviewed by an officer before a citation was put up.
Yeah, so a citation has to be issued by a police officer, not by a system, or
Correct.
computer or AI.
That is
So
right.
it needs human verification or authentication.
Correct.
Right.
The district would not be
Right.
reviewing any of that footage for that purpose.
And
But I just have to say that we are talking about the potential life
Yeah.
of a child. And I don't know what type of a price tag you want to put on that. And I don't wanna be sitting at this table, standing and giving a moment of silence for a child who was hit by a car that passed a school bus after having a conversation like this. So, I really know we have to do our due diligence and we have to know what the system is and what it's gonna cost us. But from the seat I am sitting in, there is no price tag, that is too much for the safety of our child. And that's just my opinion, and I know we have to have the correct legislature in place, and we have to know what our system is and what the time is. But we had 12 incidences on 3 buses in a couple of weeks. Well, what's the likelihood it's gonna happen? And
Were those 12 instances reported on those 3 buses only, or was that was reported from the whole?
Yeah, it's just the 3
Just-
pilot buses.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
That was,
If we had
yeah, that
out
was
in a
my
day,
question.
how many about are,
How many buses are out?
yeah,
Well over 30, between 30 and 40, so. And I think Teresa picked these 3 buses because it was her understanding.
They're the known offender routes, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, so, so when Teresa worked with Bob to identify the buses, they were buses that had frequent concerns with vehicles passing them.
So I can speak real quick on how the data was recorded. So part of the system is, they call it a panic button essentially. So it's a button that the driver can press when they see somebody passing, so that it's more isolated. So currently in the pilot phase, the AI is not doing all the reviewing of the video. It's really essentially the driver hitting the button. So those 12 instances were when the driver initiated that button to say there
So
was
it's a bus driver.
somebody passed it. So there's not a whole ton of evaluation going on right now, other than just collecting data on how many times it's happened.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, we are more than happy to, whatever we gotta do, we just gotta understand how it has to work from your vendor, so we can facilitate it on our end. It doesn't, we're not saying we don't wanna do it, that's not.
Oh, no, yeah.
You know what?
We understand.
Clearly.
I did not mean to imply that at all from the town, that's not what I was receiving, I'm just
Yeah.
saying from my point of view, and there has been some chatter, in the community and from others that, you know, there may be a price tag on it, or a time that is too much for this, endeavor, and you know, for me, there's not.
With the whole fleet, that would be well over 100 incidences in just a short time, I mean, that's a lot.
It could be,
I mean,
yeah.
It would be,
Could be.
well over 100.
Right, so I think it's important to understand how it works, what needs to be done, you know, what's involved. I know that, other communities are doing it currently, I believe Niagara Falls, so Buffalo, so it might be a good idea to even touch base with how they're handling it and how it's affecting them, so that you can get as much data as possible, that's all.
I'm always going to be an advocate of it, for the same reasons that Sue said, as long as the legislation and the law permits, you know, and it should, you know, for protecting our children's safety, you know, so.
I mean, you're gonna hopefully see reduced numbers then.
That's right.
Hopefully
You know,
improve behavior.
Because you're
Yeah.
gonna see, you know, the deterrent of it all.
Absolutely.
I would agree, so you can get it down to a much more manageable
Right.
area.
And that's another great question to ask other towns that are doing it, right? Are you seeing this reduction, are you, you know, again, with the research, so it's good.
So thank you, thanks for chiming in and sharing that information. So, I know that internships are important to you, Peter,
Yes.
so.
So that's something we started last year with the school, where we've invited, people from their summer classes to come, do their internship requirements at the town. And, so far, I think we've had 4, and everything's gone really well. And all the departments who have had them and facilitated them, were happy to sign back up and say, we'll take more, for this summer. So just extending the, invitation again. Looks like we have 5 departments already that said we're happy to take people.
That's great.
So if there's anybody, whoever facilitates this, they want to reach out to me, I can kind of give them broad-based skill sets, which would make sense for these departments. And, you know, hopefully do it again.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. And for our community too, our high school has an academy, a National Academy of Finance, and they're always looking for companies here in Great Island to partner for internships for our students. So that is something, if you want to reach out to myself or our principal, Hillary Kretz Harvey, for more information. If you're watching this or learning about those internship programs, we're more than willing to work with our community to give our kids the best possible opportunities in those internships. So thank you, it's great, it's exciting to hear 5 departments, that's great.
Yeah.
Good. Notary school, what's going on?
So this is something we've been working on and off for a while. We reached out to Bob before to give a list of people. We are gonna put it off in the next month or 2. We're gonna facilitate it. So one last call, I guess, if you got anybody else, let us know. We're gonna work on setting it up and getting it done before spring.
So the problem though, for our community that we're trying to solve, is that, you know, sometimes those who have the certification to be notaries, probably we have a couple at the table.
The clerk,
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes, like I know we just lost somebody who had that certification in our office, so we're just trying to get people interested in this and to be able to provide that
Yeah,
service.
in my time, 4 people that were notaries have retired.
Yeah.
You know, so now we need to, you know,
Yeah.
retrain.
Good.
So it's something just gotta do. Good.
How long does that take?
I don't think it's that, I think it's a day thing.
Oh, really?
I think so. I'm not sure. Patty, do you know?
You're not required to take a class, you can just go down to, but you have to pass the test.
Yeah.
So if you haven't taken a class, which is advisable,
Yeah.
but it might be just a few hours.
Yeah, so it's a date. It's
Fair
not
enough.
bad. We're just trying to set it up in-house so they don't have to leave the town hall. So,
Probably.
okay.
And I know interacting with our students is important too. You came to a session, maybe 1 or 2 that Hillary and I
Mhm.
had with our students. Maybe you just want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that was pretty enlightening. They asked me questions I didn't expect.
That's good.
They were tough. But I could tell by listening to them that these were discussions at the dinner table at home. and their parents had talked about it, so I felt it was pretty interesting. And I also felt that maybe the kids went home and educated their parents at the dinner table, which was okay too. I do have some on my books, I think, for the end of May for one of your government classes to come
Oh,
speak.
good, great.
Yeah. So I look forward to those, and we're happy to be involved. I'm sure there's other town board members, if they have time, would be happy to do that. I think last fall I went to a second grade class at Kegabine.
Nice.
And they were really tough.
Yeah.
I ended up getting out there alive, but it went well.
That's great.
You know, and it's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, giving students an opportunity to share their voice,
Mhm.
to express their agency in town government is a great idea, so thank you for that. That brings us to town news.
I think we talked about most of it, Tom. No?
Water meters is the hot button, so.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You know, spring's coming, that's usually building season, and we get busy, right?
Very much so.
That's about it.
All right, very good. I do have a little bit to share. Want to thank Hillary Chris Harvey, our principal here at the high school, for working with a group of really dedicated people to share a film about Charles de Glapper here on May 17th. Is everybody around the table familiar with this project? Yes. Oh, you saw the film, right? Excellent. So I believe at 6:30, doors will open, and the program actually will start at 7 o'clock right in our Viking auditorium. It's free, and I think Pete Galvin from Channel 2 will be one of our MCs, one of our hosts for that. It does butt up against Relay for Life, I think, but there should be plenty of time for that event to end and this film to be shown to our residents. It's a free event, so we're really excited about that. Does anybody have any questions about that de Glapper film? Yes, really? All right, Phil, did you hear that? Apparently we're having popcorn, so make sure you turn off the fire smoke detectors. So that's good. Is what, maybe we can go around and hear from the town board for closing comments?
So again, I think these meetings are great. I've been to many venues where supervisors and other elected officials talk about their relationship with their school board, and ours is so unique. Probably because our borders are so well defined and we're stuck with each other, but that's okay. I mean, they are all extremely jealous of the work that we have done with our school and the collaboration that we do. So whatever we can do to keep that going, I think it makes sense. It's all the same taxpayers. So, good. Yeah.
I'll just
Go ahead.
echo those comments. I think it's great that we not only have these meetings, but with the SRO, the IT partnership, with all the things we do to try and put our heads together and tackle things jointly. It's, like Pete said, I think our geographical borders force our hand a little bit, but that's great, and we do a very good job at it. So we'll keep at it. I think there's gonna be lots of opportunities in the coming years to keep collaborating and working together, and just even with the internship. Like, even if there's somebody that has an interest in government, we can probably find a way to have the town board be a department and get them involved if anybody has that. So we just create opportunities for the kids and.
Yeah. One of these departments is my office.
Stay away from that office.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. Joy? I think we're going to school board now.
School board?
Yeah.
Okay. I always enjoy these meetings, because I always like to hear what's going on in town.
Fill you in.
I love it. It's like, and I go home and I share it with my family, because they don't watch or they don't come, so, I always enjoy, and I always look forward to these meetings. Thank you.
Good. Danielle?
Likewise, thank you for being here, and Pete, I very much appreciate how forthcoming you are, and you say things in ways that just make it easy to understand, and just the human element of it, it's just, easy to listen to you, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Addie? All right, Jude?
Oh, the look on her face there. The look on your face was
Golf. Is he speechless?
Gives football. No, I wasn't expecting. July 25th, gives football.
Gives football.
Little envelope
far as I
Already
can.
put it in my calendar.
That should have a.
She said, July 25th, we're having the
July 25th.
GISBA golf
GISBA golf
outing,
tournament.
very good fundraiser.
Money for scholarships for their children right now in schools. Every year, it's our 13th annual.
Now, is it scholarships for college or?
Yes.
Yes and no.
Yes,
Yes and no,
Okay,
yes and
that's
no.
good.
It's a great question, it's not just
trades,
scholarships for college, also trades and,
Trades and such, you want to.
we,
College,
we even have,
career.
military
Right.
and life skills, so it's
Yeah.
really robust.
Awesome.
Jude, anything about the fish fry you wanna plug? I know it's a different school, but it's a big,
Choose the wrong
big part of
commercial.
your life. All right,
Three
thank
more
you.
weeks to get your
There you go, fish fry at St. Steve.
They are delicious, I've had one already.
Let me go over here to Ashley.
In terms of,
The light doesn't come on.
Oh, light,
Light is
okay.
off.
testing, okay, there we go. So I know it came up at our previous meeting that we had regarding town residents wanting more programming in the winter for community ed for students. And one of our biggest issues with programming is finding an instructor to run a program. I think that's, you know, really where on community ed we have difficulty is finding people to run programming. So if you are a town resident out there, this is a commercial, this is a plug, and you have an idea for a program for students in the winter that you would like to see run at one of our schools, after sports, community ed has a priority, I believe that's the case. So what you would want to do is contact community ed, contact the office and ask for a course proposal. Course proposals are reviewed by our committee. And you would want to do that as soon as possible to be able to run something in the winter, because we do it, we put a course book out several months ahead of time. And we would have to review your course. It could be something like teaching students traditional gameplay of different games that we, you know, used to play when we were younger. You don't have to be an expert, but you do have to be an adult that's willing to supervise and willing to have it advertised in our community ed book if it is approved. So I just want to put that out there in case there's any community members that do want to have programming in the winter for our residents and want to teach it, right? And as long as we have enough people sign up, then the person teaching it would get paid, or running it would get paid, and then it would appear in the course catalog and online for people, anyone to register within the town. Thank you. That's it.
So we're going into our very busy season here, especially at the high school, especially for our seniors. There's a lot of, our spring sports are starting, awards are starting for our seniors. So be patient with them as they enjoy their final days here at Grand Island High School. Just a few things I wanna put out there. We are having another car show again this year for our GISBA organization. The date is June 18th with a rain date of June 19th. Last year it was very, very successful, and it also raises money like Jude's golf tournament for scholarships and for our seniors. And we also enhance programs for our NAF program, for our actually we expanded into our tech department this year, and what's the other one? I'm gonna forget, sorry. Our emerging leaders program and down into our middle school. So, you know, the money really does go to help a lot of our students. So, if you're into cars, have a car, we'd love you to have you come out. I think last year we had 150 cars.
Buy a car.
Buy a car. And I just really wanna say that this is really insightful, and, you know, some of you may think that these are conversations that are had at our dinner table at home. They are not. We do not talk school or town at home, so I took a lot of notes. It's really great to hear what's going on at the town and how it combines with the school. So thank you all for coming, and to Pete and Tom, thank you for coming. I wish we could have had more town board members here tonight, because it would have been great to hear from them as well. So thank you.
No, I would agree. I think collaboration and communication are huge. It's really important between town and school to initiate programs, to help students, to help the community. So I really appreciate you guys coming. I really appreciate all the collaboration, and I look forward to just more of it.
More of the same, thanks guys, always appreciate the information and your willingness to work with us, from shared services to, inviting our students into your programs and help them out, so thank you very much.
Yeah, this is not a collaboration that happens in every community, so it's nice to work alongside of you and find those shared services that we can all help each other out and benefit the community mutually. So, thank you.
That's great. So just a few other news and notes. Obviously, we're really excited about the Distinguished Alumni event that's coming up on April 24th and 25th. We're excited to invite Salvatore Andolina, John Robinson, and Carlin Hartman. So if you know Carlin Hartman, he was one of our distinguished basketball players here in the history of Grand Island. He is an associate coach with the Florida Gators in the Final Four. So we're really, some of us are really pulling for him over Duke and Auburn. But that's really exciting just to get to the Final Four, and one of our alum leading the way is fantastic. So on April 24th, we're having a meet and greet at the Bridgeview, and then on the 25th, these three amazing alum will present a keynote speech to our high school students. All the students from 9th through 12th grade will get an opportunity to hear from them. So we thank the committee and the hard work that goes on behind the scenes, particularly with our Alumni Association, which we do have a distinguished member of the Alumni Association here with us today, Dick Crawford. So we thank you for your support with that. Additionally, I would like to throw a plug to Dick Crawford. I'm like a Dick Crawford fan here, but I just bought my Lions Club spaghetti dinner tickets. They're on, they saw that on Facebook, so I got my tickets, and really easy system to navigate online, so thank you to the leaders of the Lions for all that they do. And particularly, I will say, not only for all they do in our community, but for our students. The special needs picnic that's held every year at the Buffalo Launch Club is absolutely tremendous, and it's not just for our students, but for the entire Western New York region. It's really quite something to behold, and I thank the Lions for their leadership in that. I'm excited about the DeGlopper film, so thank you, Hillary, for leading that initiative. And just looking around right now, the Board of Education is working hard at looking at the needs of our district, the physical plant, the schools, of course, the classrooms, and you'll hear a lot of activity in the weeks and months ahead about the board considering a capital improvement project. Right now, it's just in its infancy stage, but I would say by the end of the school year, the board will more than likely take some type of action, yay or nay, to move forward with a capital project. And then if the board decides to move forward, there would be a vote in December to support that initiative. So I thank the three board members that are on the committee. That's Joy and Roger and Ashley. And then that information is being shared and will be shared actually one of the next meetings. I want to say it might be April. Does that sound right? May 5th, yeah.
May 6th.
Yeah, that's right. May 6th, a Tuesday, we'll have our committee members along with Young and Wright and campus construction present to the board in its totality. So I thank the board for that hard work with respect to that. And then Jude, May 20th, budget vote and trustee vote, right? That's a big vote, and that'll happen 8 a.m. start? 8 a.m.? 8 a.m.? 8 to 9 p.m. And that's in our high school gym. And Jude is the leader of bringing everybody together to make sure that goes off without a hitch, so thank you for your leadership in that. So any other questions or final comments? All right, I want to thank you. I guess we'll adjourn this meeting, and appreciate everybody's participation today. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.